Anyway, yo, everybody. We got Mitch here. We're talking a bit of left and right. With the left and right, we're talking rallies, protests, all the good stuff the world's been seeing right now. It's not really good.
No.
It's a bit out of
not.
control.
It is.
But so,
It
I
is,
mean, you and I, Mitch, I guess we're like, I'm right-wing conservative libertarian, you're left-wing. So, I mean, we talk in our Telegram chat a fair bit, and, I guess we don't really agree on a lot, or there's things we do, things we do and we don't, but I think it's like the world right now probably needs to see left and right-wing people fucking having a conversation and not...
I couldn't agree more.
Getting out of control, because it descends into chaos. Like, that's the thing. Once you... I think I've said it a few times in my chat. It's like, whatever you feed grows and whatever you leave goes. Like, we're feeding all the bloody bin chickens, and the bin chickens are fucking...
Yeah.
The more you feed the fire.
Yeah. Well, I think, it's really coming to a bit of a crunch time at the moment with these protests or riots, whatever you want to call it. And I think the battle lines of your ideology is being drawn up in real time. Like you're either where do you sit? Do you know what I mean? Especially if you are like focused on the political spectrum or whatever. I mean, genuinely think it's. Who's that?
Oh, you got the sheep on here. Another one of your fans, mate.
The boys, eh? Fuck.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, like, so it's. I think at the moment it's you draw your battle lines.
Everyone agrees that the dude who got his neck fucking crushed by the cop, like, no good. Like, I haven't heard, and not one person anywhere has said, there's no justification. You know what I mean? Any kind of policing like that is...
That's
like,
right. And I
just
think...
like, knees in your back, dude's holding you down. I think your neck is just, your neck, your eyes, your balls.
Yeah, well, he wasn't even a violent...
You wouldn't fucking do it you wouldn't see fucking, scumbags fighting each other. Don't go for the eyes, the balls, or the neck. It's kind of just like...
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest problem is when we're talking about that is it's he wasn't a violent offender to start with. Like, it was over apparently a bad check. It wasn't even a bad check, so he hadn't really even done anything wrong. So there's obviously outrage about that. It's not the first time this kind of shit has happened, and it's not the first time that cop had killed someone. He'd killed a black person before. Yeah. So and interesting about this is one of the police commissioners or whatever who let him off, and he didn't get lose his job or whatever, was Amy Klobuchar, who was running in the Democratic primary. So yeah, dude, piece of shit.
So she is a Democrat, like she's a left-wing person, and she's...
Democrats aren't left-wing though. We need to...
Okay. So what do you believe? Democrats are centre or something? Or what?
Centre right at best. I mean, you'd probably say on the social issues like abortion and gay rights and stuff, you'd probably say they're centre right. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they're not exactly socially liberal, although some would try and tell you that. But economically, they're very much right wing, much like the GOP. Like I say to a lot of people, the GOP,
kind of
Democrats,
war hawkish, they like
same as
too, and
they're the business part. They're both business parties. I personally believe
they are like a double-sided coin. It's like
it's good cop, bad cop.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
They kind of just take turns and go, oh yeah, well you get 4 years and we'll have 8, and then you can have 8, and then we'll have 4, and
and
that's just the thing. Fucking end up. This is the thing. Like, I've always said, like, the right wing dudes can come in, they make a few fuck ups, and then the left wing comes in, they fuck a few things up. But it's like you're stuck with you're stuck with them. You're like stuck with all the mistakes and all the bad shit. It's like once it's in, it's in. Yeah, it's in. Once it's in, and you're stuck with it, and then you're going, fucking, what's going on here?
Well, the thing is also like, look, to put it out there, I'm not one of the people on the left who's saying this is all Trump's fault. I don't think anyone on the left is really saying that. They're saying, yeah, it's an issue. He's there. But the issue stems much further than that. It's decades and decades or hundreds of years, really, of police brutality and oppression. But wait, Obama had 8 years and didn't fix it. So it's crazy. There's a lot of people who are what I would call center right, maybe even center left, who are like, oh, if only Obama wasn't fixing anything. Joe Biden's not going to fix anything. They're the same people that are involved in passing these laws and bills and things like that have led to this oppression and police overstepping the line and all that kind of stuff. Same as Amy Klobuchar, like I said.
When I was 18, dude, I got arrested. We were at the pub with my mates. They're fucking like idiot mates, and I don't even hang out with them, right? We walk out of the pub, and I was being a dickhead talking to Barm Sheila or something, and I'm like, where the fuck are they
gone? Before you had your missus?
Yeah, so I was 18. And I was like, I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, your mates went that way. And I walk outside and they're literally bashing each other. And I'm like, well, that just fucking happened so quick.
Yeah.
Right. Me and my older brother, we broke it up. One dude was really fucking messed up. And I was like fucking ringing the ambos. And then we could see the cops coming. Yeah. And my brother at the time had like fucking a court case coming up. So we're out of here, dude. And I'm like, here's my phone, bro. I'll get it tomorrow. And we took off, right? And then the cops pull up. They fucking crash tackle me. Knees on me. Like it was pretty brutal, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, right. And you weren't even doing anything.
We broke it up and I was a bit aggressive breaking it up. So like,
they just come in. Yeah.
What's going on? I broke up the fight. It broke up, gave the dude the phone. We legged it. The cops pulled up. They're like, that's the cunt there. Crash tackle me. Me, fucking me up. My brother, he's like, what? He's like, what the fuck are you doing? This cunt broke up the fight. Dead set, bro. They pepper spray my brother straight up.
Jesus Christ.
And then they're like, yeah, we've got the cunt in the red. And then the security's like, the dude in the red broke up the fight. And it was like, oh, fuck, we got the wrong dude. And, I was fucked up. Yeah. My brother's pepper sprayed. And then I was pissed. I'm just, like, drunk. And I was just like, fuck you, cunts. We fucking stopped that fight. And I was giving them a mouthful. And then they're like, we're taking you to the fucking watch house anyway. And it was shit. And then I went the next day, picked my phone up. And I was like, brother, we spent all night in the watch house. After saving your ass, and we didn't end up getting charged for it anyway, but fucking mess. And this dude had quite a bad black eye, and and I think like cops, need to be better trained. There needs to be like training issue here where maybe you go like a UFC fucking fighter understands you don't hit him in the eyes, you don't hit him in the balls, you don't fuck with the neck. Like, well, what about I think we had did we have the Aboriginal kid get they chucked him in a paddy wagon and did he die in the paddy wagon or something?
Oh, that's happened
like was he pissed drunk and over hot in the back of a paddy wagon?
Yeah,
and
it's happened before. It's happened before. I can't remember the kid's name, but I got an idea for you. What about like a demilitarization of the police? So instead of giving them military grade weapons,
like the POMs kind of thing.
Yeah, or Japan have the same thing, and Japan have obviously it's a cultural thing. Like I just want to point that out. Different cultures obviously need different things, but a demilitarized, and this is the hard part of the problem. Like America have guns everywhere, so you need the cops to sort of have some sort of militarization. Yeah, so that's part of the problem. It's a culture thing. I fully understand that.
Because I think the POMs don't have pistols on them or something, and then they have special armed police units that deal with specific cases or something like that.
Yeah. And I don't think like, you know what I mean? Like I just think there's an issue. I think the training
rubber pepper spray. They've got like pretty high powered rubber pepper spray guns.
Yeah, but they're abusing it over there during these protests and riots and stuff. They're really abusing it. I think like people getting really hurt, innocent bystanders and peaceful protesters and stuff. I understand there's looting and stuff like that, but I think the looting is probably less of a problem when we actually know, because I think this is personally for me anyway, I think the media are purposely focusing on that as to discredit it. Do you know what I mean? And you're on the right. You know what the media does to your cause and stuff like that.
Oh, we would not even go near it because we would just be spun against us. Like you couldn't. There's just impossible. It's impossible you can't even do the right thing. We'd end up fucking in jail for sneezing or something.
Well, I think personally, and I said this in the Telegram, I think these riots and protests are less of a left v right thing. I think it's more of a class struggle thing. You've got these guys that have been oppressed with, and obviously it started as, like a race thing. I definitely understand that, but I think there's more at play. And look, I don't live there, and I'm a Caucasian male, so obviously I don't know exactly, but from what I can see on Twitter,
because I mean, I don't know if I can really understand. For me, I don't think racism exists in my life. Like, I don't think I've seen it or really, you know what I mean? Like, a few, like, it's just barely not a thing. So, like, for me, I just go, oh, fuck off. Like, it's not real. Like,
yeah, but that's in your sphere.
Just go, I've never fucking experienced it. And I mean, I just like, yeah, I do dismiss it because I just go, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I think I had an African mate and he goes, when I first met you, I thought you were a bit weird to me. And then he's like, I realized you just sling shit and banter and you were just treating me the same as everyone. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, thank fuck you realize that, you stupid cunt. Like, you know what I mean? I was just like, for fuck's sake. Like, I just was kind of just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Hey, Ben is good, but I think I've played footy like nearly all my life, and I've played with Aboriginal kids, grew up with Aboriginal kids, Fijians and stuff like that, man. And like, there's banner and there's definitely like racist like casual racism and stuff like that. And like a lot of the stuff time gets laughed off, and that's fine. And you and I probably will never know how that feels, right? We probably will never know how it feels. But I know a lot of my friends have spoken about it over the years and been like, yeah, it's fuck. Like, I just have to grit my teeth and bear it and stuff like that. And I think obviously we've got issues here, but I don't think, even though you and I can't really grasp what happens here, like you said, you've never experienced it. I think over there, because of hundreds of years and I think it's supercharged. And I've been to America, and like obviously I haven't seen it firsthand and stuff like that, but there is a much larger population of African Americans than we have here of Indigenous Australians, so they make up a huger number of.
Like 13% of the population, something like that.
Whereas
I think it's 40 million people, so it's
it's a lot.
A substantial amount of. You could have like a city where you imagine 40 cities with 1 million people in each city. Like, that's a lot.
What does Sydney have? What does Sydney have?
Sydney might be 5 million people in Greater Sydney. Kind of thing.
Yeah. And how many would somewhere like LA or New York?
Fucking huge, bro. 10 million more.
So you think about how many you think about.
I noticed in America there was a lot of racial segregation, like LA, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, it's just like Chinatown. It's like Chinatown, Koreatown, Japantown, Vietnam town.
Well, even the Italians,
it's like
stuff, you know what I mean?
Italians, Jews, fucking Mexicans,
100%.
blacks, like. And then it's like whites, and then you're just like, but then you've got like the cultural centers where it is a mix, like where you get
definitely.
You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, we kind of have it here.
To an extent. We have the missions and stuff, unfortunately, which were set up by, and I think those
Aboriginal missions and stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think
I was like learning about. I was learning about that too, because there's a mission around down in Ipswich here, and I actually found it because I was looking for fucking Yowie sightings. Like, I'm kid you not, bro.
Oh, dude, I got a good Yowie.
I looked up like local Yowie sightings, and bang, I'm like, holy fuck! There's one in Ipswich, and it ended up being a fucking Aboriginal mission or something, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and I learned about it, and then my Aboriginal mate, we had like a Bible study and. We had communion and we like just drank a whole bag of goon and got maggot, and his missus went off at me. I seen her at fucking Kmart and she's like, my husband came home maggot, and she's like, that won't be happening again. She gave me a bit of an ear bashing, and I was like, I'm real sorry. But he was telling me about that mission, and I was like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit of a. But did the Christians who set up the mission, they thought they were helping, and then it ended up not helping? Like.
Nah, not at all.
I was wondering about this. What about African American slavery? Right? Did the culture goes back to like the kings in Africa? The tribes would, if you're a criminal or you had war, you would be sold into slavery, right? That's what that was the crime. Like, so if I broke a crime in Africa,
I'm not fully aware of that, but yeah, continue. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was like the culture was like, instead of the death sentence, they'd put you as a slave. Do you know what I mean?
You're a reader.
I was a prisoner of. Yeah.
There's a book you should read. There's a book you should read. I've got it. I haven't read it. It's fucking huge. It's called The Scramble for Africa, and it's about how all the Western
colonization.
Yeah, and they all went over there and they tried to like sort of take over. And if you ever watched a movie called Zulu, it kind of has bits and pieces of that. There's heaps of movies with it. Zulu's probably the main one.
I should watch it. I know the Zulu warriors were like pretty fucking tough, pretty badass.
Yeah,
like,
well, they fought against.
We had we had like proper fucking hardcore battles with them, like the British, where there would be like
it was.
There's some fucking battle I was some heavy metal band fucking Sabaton I listen to. They make like metal songs about military battles, and there's one that's like this fucking in South Africa, and the British are like pinned down like 50 men, and the Zulu come, and it's like 10-1, and they're just fucking like the Zulu are like, obviously they're getting fucked up by the rifles.
Yeah, they don't have guns,
like,
you know.
They're brave as fuck. Like they're brave as fuck, and they're coming in with shields and they're macking each other out, and the Poms are there just like fucking fighting for like 2 days straight and hold the fort, and you're like, fucking hell, savage, like.
Oh, they're warriors, man, and that's. But back to what we're saying about.
But so are the British too. Like so are we. Like I like to paint the picture like that the British. You know, we believed in our heart that there was something good about what we were doing. You know what I mean?
Not so convinced.
I think there was. I think we can. I don't think the story's finished. That's what I think. I think there was some initial goodness in there. And the story's not done. Like, the story's not done, brother. Like, the story's not done for Aboriginals and the British, or the Maoris and the British, or the South Africans and the British, or the Poms and the British. Like, we can have. There can be like, we want the empire. We want to spread freedom. We want to spread Christianity.
You can't spread freedom going into somewhere and taking everyone and selling slaves. That's not selling freedom, bro. That's a contradiction. Look. Like, let's leave the.
They had an idea of freedom. Like, they thought that under seeing like their own situation, I think they believed that they had an empire that was just and.
I think it was just I think it was just a scramble to get the goods and get the resources there personally. But let's leave the scramble for Africa and the moral dilemma of it all. But talk about the segregation, or I guess like the the break off of like different cultures and stuff in America. And I think why they have such a different, because it's a melting pot over there, obviously, and has been for a while by the sounds of things. And you said you saw it yourself, how there's like they break off in their little groups. I think because the country. And people can argue this, but it has a history of slavery and racism. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't allowed to vote for how long, man? Like, until the 60s or some shit like that. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I guess
they were subjected to the same laws.
Even though there was like, they banned slavery, and there was like a moral.
Yeah, but there was a war over it, bro. There was a war over it. Half the country.
There was a war over it.
Like, you know what I mean?
There was a war over it, and I think like in the culture, like. Look, I think in the culture at the time, our convicts were slaves too. Like, it seems like there was a culture where criminals were sold into slavery, and there was they were used as labor, and it seems like they did it to white people too, and it was about money. Like, they used
the French did
money,
it.
and it's terrible. Like
the French did it. They used to send prisoners to like penal colonies and stuff, say in like in the West Indies and whatever, and they would set it up, and they'd work, and they'd blah blah blah, but they'd work, but they were a lot tougher. But I think when the UK sent our my first fleet, I think we were sent us over here. I don't think they were treated as harshly. I think maybe they were pretty much like, all right,
because
we're
there
here,
was
do your thing,
do you know, there's like, I was reading something about it, and like there was like Christians who they like got the contract to transport the Australian convicts, and they had like a good reputation of like caring for the convicts. Because
is this a book? What's this?
Apparently, I was watching some doco on. I'll find it for you and send it to you.
Send it to me.
It was something that like they felt as though the Christians, it was like they had a chance to get here because they had a history of treating convicts and as like shit, and they would just fucking die before they even got anywhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was like, they kind of used, which is not. It's not really good, is it? Like it.
No.
We're living in a different world. Like I could only imagine being a Christian and going like, yeah, okay, I'm working on this ship, and I want to be as good as possible to these criminals so they don't die, so that they can get labor out of them. Like that sounds fucked up. Like
we're starting to run short of time, but I just want to talk about what I said about the class war thing, and I would have to point out, like, I guess guys on your side of things, on the right, I feel like I said, it's a class struggle, I think. But I feel like there's members of the right, maybe the libertarian right, which I think you probably belong to. It's been weird seeing so much what I think that sector, I guess, of the political compass, sort of trying to discredit and fighting. And I can understand protecting your property. I can understand going out there and be like, look, don't trash my shit, and stick up for yourself. But I just think it's kind of weird that with what Trump's doing now, infringing on people's constitutional rights, declaring martial law, all that kind of stuff, militarization of the police. It's kind of weird not seeing the libertarian right now being like, hold up, this is going too far. It's kind of weird seeing, personally for me.
I
like
don't like the sight. I don't like the sight of seeing, bring in the National Guard, or we're going to bring in the military. Like it's not fucking ideal situation at all. But I mean, it's such a hard thing to say, like, fuck, when they're actually burning shit down and going out of our way to bloody do that, and you go like, what are you going to do, man? Like, you need to bring some law and order into it, and
we'll talk.
Like, I get to understand. Figure it out.
Like, I think
if it was peaceful, you wouldn't need it, right? Like,
but I think it was peaceful until the cops escalated, man. There's so much proof of that. I know people want to argue that or whatever, but like legit, like there's so much proof of it being peaceful until cops started getting aggressive, tear gas, rubber bullets. And the other thing is, rubber bullets are supposed to be fired into the ground, bro. It's like like a breakup tactic, and they're shooting it like point blank in people's faces and shit, man. Giving people brain damage and people losing eyes and shit, man. But we aren't seeing those reports in the media, unfortunately, because, like I said, the media. You have your qualms of the media. I have my qualms of the media. Obviously, they serve corporate interests. You know what I mean? And corporate interests aren't necessarily right or left or whatever. They definitely are economically right because. But
you're out of it. It says on the bottom of the
libertarian.
Screen, hook Dusty up with a super
Everyone's looking for a buck. But you're more of the libertarian school of thought when it comes to the right. Like you're more like, you want to pay less taxes and stuff like that. I understand that, but I think we'll leave that for a moment.
I think there needs to be like healing, and like at the end of the day, like there needs to be healing, and like I don't think any racism is right, and I just think that like you hear me say it all the time, and it's a hard thing to talk about forgiveness and like to get beyond that. And I think like in Christian culture there's the idea of repentance, and I think when you like say if I did wrong by you, dude, and what good is it saying I'm sorry if I keep doing the same thing? You know what I mean? Like it's stupid. It's stupid. I think.
Well, that's the cops.
I don't like cops, that. Bro. Like
that's the cops.
Yeah, so there needs to be repentance, which repentance means like to change. To change from, and say like we're going to implement these things, and fucking it's not gonna. We don't want this happening again. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
And then forgiveness can come. Like I know in Christian culture, it's like we forgive first. We receive forgiveness, so that makes it easier to forgive others. And then it becomes a hard task to put my culture on other people and say, like, you've got to forgive, man, you've got to forgive, when maybe they don't have that archetypal hero who's giving them forgiveness.
Well,
Like,
Trump's not giving anyone forgiveness. He's calling in the National Guard. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's overstepping boundaries and declaring war on civilians. And even if you think the civilians are looting places and stuff like that, he's doing it to peaceful protesters. They're on they're on the lawn, and they're getting fucking shot at, rubber bullets and tear gas and shit like that. Like, that's war on your civilians, man. That's martial. This is the stuff that the libertarian right are like, we need guns because if this shit pops off, if the government comes tyrannical, we're in it. And now it's happening.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the libertarian right or the right as a whole are kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, I understand a lot of them are Trump supporters and don't. But where do you cross the line?
I mean, I think that the right have been screwed. I mean, I know my crew's been screwed hard by the media and the courts. Where we fucking sneeze and we're going away. Like, we'll get locked up. You could just you could be drunk, stumbling out of a pub and getting a punch on, and we go to someone gets $100 fine, we go to jail for it. Like, so I mean, you can imagine we've been de-incentivized to, you know, there's a rally in the city, Black Lives Matter on the weekend. I'm not going.
Yeah,
I'm not going at all, dude.
I'm going to mine.
I would like to go. But I would reckon, you know, if I went, maybe I would rile people up and they wouldn't understand that I'm willing. I would like to do that, but I'm not interested in.
Listen to them, bro. Like, but don't, you know, you're going to get, like, look, obviously there's problems here, but I would probably be careful of who you, like, talk to and stuff, because obviously there's people there who are just going, you know what I mean? Like, and to show solidarity and stuff like that. It depends what questions you ask and what you're going there for, I guess. Like, you know, like
when I go to a rally, I do generally try to let people talk, like, because I don't fucking know, man. I'm going there to go, what's this about? You tell me, because I don't fucking know. What do I know? Like, and I'm too fucking lazy to. I can pull up an article, but it's good when you hear it from the person's mouth, you know.
Nothing better, man.
And generally, when you hear it from the person's mouth, it's not wound up like we get from the fucking media. You know what I mean? You get like
packed into a little. This is what you. Yeah. They want you to feel a certain way. They like
human. You get the human touch to it, and you.
Agreed.
It's not spun up, and I think even a right wing person could hear it from a left wing person, and you'd be like, yeah, okay, can be like a dialogue there then, where the media is interested in clickbait and dollar signs and
absolutely,
like, they're worried about this, dude. They're worried about, you know, some fucking bogan with a silly hat sitting here who can do it for nothing, like pretty much nothing.
Well, eventually that kind of media, your traditional kind of media, I think will go by the wayside, and I think it'll be independent media, alternative media that takes off, whether it's left. The thing is
people are doing it, and that's why the mainstream media is shitting themselves and being fuckheads. Like, they make money off clickbait now. It's like they're probably fucking enjoying this riot. They will sit there and they'll be like, dollars in their pocket. They're fucking loving it. You know?
Oh, look, it serves a purpose, and the thing is, every media tries to use any situation, like whatever, to push a narrative. You know that, I know that, and whether you know. CNN might push a different narrative than Fox. I understand that. We understand. You know, and that's, it depends where they lie on where their views and stuff like that. So you've got, obviously, in the Daily Telegraph today, I saw Daily Telegraph today, it was very pro-Trump, you know, blah, 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 anti-protesters. It was all about how the protesters were violent. It wasn't about the cops or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Which is biased. You can say the protesters are violent, fine. The cops are violent too. To leave that out is to show a bias. But yeah, like, I think the issue is
it's trying time. Like, I know when I was a youth leader for years, and you know, it's young blood, young men, and you know, 16 to 21, you're like, you're frothing at the mouth, man. Like, it would be really fucking hard for myself. Now I'm a bit more chilled out, but when I was a young man, it'd be pretty hard not to jump on the bandwagon and fucking like run with the boys and have a fucking. You'd be like having the fucking thinking it's hilarious, you know what I mean? Like, look, we grew up on The Simpsons, and they fucking stormed town hall with our pitchforks and went a riot, and everyone thought it was funny. Like, everyone thinks it's fucking hilarious, you know? Like,
but it's serious, man. It's serious.
It's serious. It's serious. But when you're a young person, you jump on the bandwagon, you go out and you're probably riding and you're not fucking thinking like, what the fuck am I doing? This is probably not the best fucking.
Let me just make a point before we end it. These riots, like, as much as people want to discredit them, whatever, it's not because of this one incident. I don't think, like I said, I'm not black. I'm not there. But this is what I'm picking up from all the stuff I've been reading and watching, and have been keeping my finger on the pulse over there for a while. It's not necessarily, obviously that's terrible. You agree it's terrible. Now, what I think it's now, it's a sum of a lot of things. They don't have Medicare over there like we do. It's the richest country in the world. They have no Medicare. It's fucking insane, man, because they have corrupt politicians. The system has been rigged against the working class so long. They have a fucking starvation. Like, here we have a decent minimum wage. They don't have that. They've got starvation wages. They're the richest country in the world, bro. They have the highest infant mortality rate in the world. They have no maternity leave, bro. So they have the richest country in the world has the highest infant mortality rate. That's crazy. They have a corrupt system.
I know when I was over there.
It's the sum of a lot of things.
When I was over there on holidays, they're like, "Oh, how long you coming over here?" "Oh, we're over here for a month." And they're like, "What the fuck?" They're like, "Are you rich or something?" You're like, "Daddy's rich son." And I'm like, "Nah, brother. Like, fucking, I don't even have a dad. Like, we've been saving up for years. Like, me and the missus, and we were like, we have a month holiday pay a year and 10 sick days a year." And
they don't have that.
They were like, "What the fuck?"
That is so foreign, like, bro. Yeah.
There's I found over there, I was like, I could see. My thinking when I was in America, I was like, they work like 6 days a week. It seemed like to me everyone was working 6 days a week,
bro.
Working 2 jobs.
Crazy hours. Crazy hours.
Yeah, crazy hours. And I was like, this is what I thought. I was like, oh no shit, this is why America that we see is like party. Because it's like when you get 1 day off a week, you don't get any sick days, you don't get any holidays, you only get 1 day off a week.
Well,
so you're like, you knock off and you're like, fuck this. You want to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we see like American culture and they're just like, like,
but I'd argue what we see,
beer pong and fucking rocking it, because they're just like, finally the weekend. And that's it. They live for the weekend because they don't get holidays.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
I don't necessarily agree with that. What I think, because the American culture we see isn't the working class culture. We see all the richer, because there's still a massive amount of rich people over there. Like that's what I mean. The wealth disparity is so bad. That's what I think. So we see the kids of rich people and stuff like that, or like upper middle class or whatever you want to call it, and they get the party because they've got money, they've got a house. But the people who are the working class, people like me and you, who didn't come from privileged backgrounds or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, we come from broken homes or whatever, you know what I mean? We've had to work for what we have. We don't see that culture over there. And if we did, we'd probably understand why the riots are happening more. They don't show us that because it's ugly. America wants, everything America puts out, movies, what do they export? Their biggest export is entertainment. It's all propaganda.
The real America is like Rocky. It's like Rocky Balboa, Rocky 1, like, and it's tough. But the thing is like, I know what you're saying, and I agree. Like, it is like Rocky. Like, it's tough, it's fucked. But I mean, the American dream is supposed to be like, it is rugged. There's less government, there's less tax, and the dream is that you can make it. The thing is, if it's
American dream's dead. Trump said it himself. Trump said himself, the American dream is dead, bro. This is how he got elected, because he tapped into the same similar energy that what's going on now. Anti-establishment, the system's rigged. This is bullshit. Because what do you remember his 2016? It was all like, I'm going to fix the problems. I'm going to fix the problems.
He wanted the jobs and real jobs and grow.
We're going to pull out of the military. We're going to stop spending so much money on the military. We're going to pull out of the wars. We're going to put that money into. He talked about Medicare for all, bro, in 2016. Now, this is my point. None of those things have been done, and the left have genuinely abandoned Obama. They've abandoned Obama, and it's time for the right to be like, okay, Trump didn't deliver on his promises. We need to come to grips with it and now be part of this like working class movement. Now, I'm not saying you all have to be Marxist or whatever the fuck like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like there needs to be a point. Where's the point when Trump starts infringing on all these rights and stuff? Like where do you guys stop and go, maybe he's
yeah. I mean, I think that there is like reasonable, classical liberalism and conservatives and libertarians. Now there is like a good mash where I think that the libertarians and the conservatives and classical liberalism is coming together, and it is like shifting right wing politics, and it is making us go like a bit like, hang on a minute, we need a fucking efficient, good system here, like that's functional and well rounded, and there should be a fair enough system. Like I know America, it's like I love the Constitution, I like them freedoms, I like all them ideas. Like I honestly do, because I think we should be able to have freedom of religion and freedom of speech and the right to self-defense, and I like the ideas of fucking democracy and voting and a jury of 12 being judged by your peers and all these fucking things. All these things I like, and that doesn't
there's
necessarily
flaws in all that, but there's flaws in all that. Like democracy is a bit of a flaw, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like,
well, but people are involved. But the thing is,
exactly, so it's flawed.
You're connected. Like if your vote legitimately gets someone elected who who you believe represents you, and you get to have a say, because the thing is, we're being taxed, they're taking the money, they're they're using it, and it's like, that's your money, they should be working for you.
They're not using it right.
They're not using it right, and it's not good. Like, this is why I don't like corruption. I think people's votes should count, they should be represented properly, and we should have efficient government where we're not wasting it. And I think
when it'd be a good episode.
Queensland election, bro, they found out there was something like 5,000 phone lines that the government were paying for that were just sitting there. No one had used them. They were like hooked up and they were paying for them, right? And I don't even think a phone was connected to the fucking hookup, but they were paying for the hookup. And like, how fucking stupid is that? Like, how fucking stupid is that? Like,
bro, there is so much stuff like that. So much stuff like that. Do you know what would be a good episode if you and I did? If we talked about our views on democracy, like how the voting electoral, because I believe in electoral politics. I think it's rigged, and I think it's a very flawed system. But I would like to actually have a conversation with you about it, but not now, because it would go on for ages. I assume.
Yeah.
We're probably running over already.
Learn more about it. I want to learn more about it, and But yeah, brother, thanks for coming on. I know we could have gone forever. And we probably barely fucking touched on a lot of things, and people will probably be like, fuck yes, but I reckon, bro, or if you get some Black Lives Matter dudes you bump into or meet on the weekend, if they would like, if you could build the connection and you'd say, hey, come on to a show if they want to, I'm happy to give them a voice as well because I'm not going to go this weekend. I'm booked out for the next few weekends. And
Mrs. got you on lockdown, mate.
And my group has decided we're not going to be involved in any protests or rally. Like, it's a bit too. But I'd be happy to have a conversation.
Well, I hope you reconsider, but that's on you. That's on you, man. I hope you reconsider, but that's on you. Like, that's all good, man. Like, everyone's got a choice to be part of whatever they want to be. I just think at the moment,
I don't want to go because I know my group would just they'd be like, fucking
fuck off.
We just would not get last I just don't think the police or the media are not on our side. Like, it's just like, hey, we don't need to be stupid. I'm not going to be stupid. I'm not a citizen in this country, dude. I don't want to get deported for.
Wait, what do you think when Morrison? Do you remember Morrison and Dartmouth talking about deporting New Zealanders?
I just think all immigrants should be well behaved. Like, I think it's a privilege to be here.
Should be well behaved.
Yeah, like, I think it's a privilege to be here, and I mean, I'd find it very difficult if someone was trying to be aggressive to me, and like, I'm going to defend myself, so I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm in that position. You know what I mean? Because it's just human nature. Like, your fucking brain kicks in, and you go, I don't want to be a fool about it. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a fool about it.
Nah, fair enough. Anyway, mate, it was good
cheers,
chatting.
brother. Well, we had a super chat. Come in. Thanks, Kev, you legend. America has a genuine fascist movement calling themselves status. I don't know. I don't
disagree. I think maybe Trump's the fascist, but that's just me, mate. That's just me. What, like, you had the imagery where he cleared out the fucking path with the fucking tear gas and whatever, and come out in the morning and held the Bible. And I'm like, I don't know. That's, to me, that's just straight fascist.
I think that we need to have, you need some heroes that we can bring people together and to stand in there and try to actually do what's right. You know what I mean? So I want to try my best to actually do what is right. I want to try to be what's right, because people don't have many role models, and someone needs to try. I think in my head, and I think of my heroes, from the Bible, I got my Bible and I got the guys there who are my heroes, and I'm like, that's the guys I want to emulate, and they challenge my thinking, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, I want to be like that, because someone needs that. We need that. We need heroes. We need people who aren't going to be violent, who aren't going to who are trying to do the right thing genuinely. Maybe Trump, the thing is, he might try to, some politicians, even Trump probably tries to do that in a way. I don't think in Australia, I don't think our politicians do it. Trump tries to paint himself in a heroic.
Oh, his imagery. He's all I'm great. I'm the best. Look at me. I'm God Emperor. He does that whole thing, and people buy it, man. But it's got to be, this is my thing. Cool.
It's got to be genuine in the heart, dude.
Yeah, it's not. There's got to be a point. Where do you fall off the Trump train? When do people get off the Trump train? It's got to be a point soon, man. It's got to be a fucking point.
What are you going to jump? When are you going to go? You can't. We can't go the Biden train. That would just be.
Biden. I hate Joe Biden. I hate Joe Biden.
I hate Joe Biden. Honestly, Trump's. I think he will get 4 more years, and it's going to be 4 years better than with Biden. And maybe in 4 years we can. Dude, if the left and right can have dialogue, and if we can, I believe in the people. I volunteer. I pull $1 out of my pocket. I try. I want to see improvement. I don't need to necessarily, I don't think much of the government. I think personal responsibility and what the fuck can I do? Because if we try to do that, I want to try to do that. I'm conscious of things that bring out the worst in me.
Do you think Jesus would have gone to Black Lives Matter?
I think Jesus would go to All Lives Matter or something Dude, we just had the day of Pentecost, bro. We just had the day of Pentecost.
He'd go, bro. He'd go.
Where the Holy Spirit descended, and they spoke on the day of Pentecost. It says that the early Christians spoke all the languages of the earth, and it was a sign that the gospel was for all the nations. Yeah. That was the picture. The thing was, it's this is not just for these people in this city and this nation. This is for the world. And as a Christian, dude, I believe that for every nation. I believe it for every nation.
I believe all lives matter as well, but I think the priority at the moment is that Black lives seem like they don't matter as much. So we need to bring that up to the forefront until Black people are treated the same as white people with police enforcement or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Because what I'm saying is there is systemic racism in the US. Probably here too. You and I, we've discussed this. We haven't really had to face it ourselves. But I've been made aware from where I come from.
We've got to, I believe in meritocracy. I believe in a common law.
Yeah, but this isn't meritocracy. Australia's not meritocracy. I don't think we are because we have morons. We have morons at the top.
My world that I live in, that I've seen, and that I create around my life is a meritocracy. So I live meritocracy out. You know what I mean? And I also treat people for me, I live in a common law mentality where I'm like, yo, if someone's a dickhead, I'll treat them like a dickhead. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. A black dude or a gay dude.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about.
They don't get a green light to be a fuckhead. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe in privilege or like victim mentalities. Or
yeah,
like,
you don't, but the system does, bro. You don't, but the system does. That's what I'm saying. The system is set up in a way.
I hope the pendulum doesn't swing back where like now I'm a victim identity group, and then
that's where we
get away. You know, you don't want to swing it back where they can then get away with murder. Like, imagine black people who could commit crime, and they go.
I think we are lucky.
I don't think it would happen either.
Nah,
because
I think we're lucky.
Believe in people.
I think we're lucky that black people just want equality and not revenge, bro, for what we've done to them. Not you and I, obviously. I'm not saying that. It's not a personal thing. It's the system. It's the decades and decades.
Revenge is like, you know, whenever you look for revenge, you have to be ready to dig 2 graves because it's not like.
Yeah, no, they're saying, but they're not looking for that. They're not looking
repentance, forgiveness, like repentance, forgiveness, like
they're
as
just
a
looking
Christian,
for an equitable society, bro. They're just looking for an equitable society, and it's not just black people. It's a lot of people, bro. It's a class of people. It's a movement. That's what I think it is. That's what it feels like in Australia for the people I'm talking about who want to be involved in it and stuff like that. It's it's a movement. Now, I understand, you know, some people are upset about the violence and things like that. I think the police have instigated it. I definitely think the looting's not great, but the real looting is what. Put it this way: America was just on a lockdown. You know this. America was on a lockdown, forced in their houses, bro, for what, like 3 months or some shit. And the government gave $500 billion out to corporations. They pumped $30 trillion into the stock market, and only gave, I think it's like 30% of the population got 1.2K to last 3 months. You know what I mean? No wonder they're at the end of their tether, bro. Like, we got JobKeeper, Job Seeker, Orbital, Essential. I think you're Essential, weren't you? I was Essential. But, like, you know what I mean? We got taken care of, you know, we were okay, you know, but over there, man, they got fucked over by the government.
I think
that's the looting, bro. That's the real looting.
Yeah. Today was our last pour, so we don't have any work on the books, and maybe I'll go to
concrete,
I'll go to so I might go to JobKeeper now, so things are slowing down and
how's your back?
Everything on the. I'm all good, dude. I fucking make sure I, stretch and. Yeah, you would have seen like when I work out, like I don't. When I was younger and I went into concreting, I'd like lift heavy weights, and I'd hook in. And now I'm like, I warm up a bit, and I'm like, get into it.
Mate, go take care of your body.
No, the thing is I don't have pain. Like I'm all good.
Yeah, right.
I had more pain when I was younger and stupid. When I'd like go work and then hit the gym and lift heavy and. You know, doing fucking deadlifts and squats and then rushing into work and like trying to be a hero and shit. Like now I'm like,
young blood, mate.
I'll be like, I tell the young boys now, I'm like, fucking slow down, you fuckhead. And then they'll be like, oh, my shoulder's fucked, my arm's fucked, my leg's fucked. And I'm just like,
it's part of being young, bro. It's part of being young.
Yeah. It is a part of being young.
You make mistakes. You're really dumb. Anyway, we got a fucking poor Dia.
Oh fuck, we're going into Dia's time. Chewing to her time. Tuning to her show. We're fucking 20 minutes into a show. Anyway, dude.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Try hook up a fucking Black Lives Matter person.
Yeah, I might even get some footage. Hey, I got a camera. I might get some footage and do a bit of man on the street stuff myself for you.
Yeah. I could fucking if you're down there, I could literally send you a live link, bro, and I could stream you live here if you wanted. Like,
I'll definitely think about that. That actually would be good.
Well, shoot me a message and like, you know, we could have fucking people in every city, bro, and I could have 5 of yous on and whatever.
Yeah, right.
Who knows?
Sounds good. All right, brother. Have a good night.
Have a good one, eh? Cheers.
See you, bro.